Hey everybody. I hope you guys are having a good day. It's kind of late here in New York City. It's about 11 o'clock. I've been trying to shoot this video all day, and for some reason, I've just been one headache after the next. Get all these interruptions, the computer just starts acting up. So I'm going to try this one last time. But, as you see, I'm wearing my glasses today. I normally would be wearing my contact lenses. I grew up wearing glasses, and today my eyes are just acting up. So instead of being in my contact lenses, I'm in my glasses. But we just have to get through it. So I wanted to shoot a video today, and the reason why is because I'm in the XJW Reddit groups, and I get private messages as well as I'm reading the post on in the group, and I wanted to address, we're going to go continue along the same discussion line we have been for the past few weeks with, teens and young adults leaving the cult. And I wanted to talk about that. Um, there's, issues that we should just get ironed out first. And here's, so let's just start. The first thing I wanted to talk about is I see some teens and, young adults, they're confronting their parents. They're telling them, oh, this is a cult, this is that, it's not, it's lies, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to ask that you please not do that. Please do not confront your parents. Please do not start a battle any earlier than you have to. All right. The reason why this is important is because right now we just need you to find a way of earning money and then take that money and save it, right? And then use that money for when you're ready to exit the cult. If you start arguing with your parent might say to you, listen, if you're having all of these doubts and you're starting to sound like an apostate, and then what they'll do is they say, okay, we're going to take you out of school. You're going to take you out of school, and we're going to homeschool you. So that's one. Now you just put one obstacle in your way. Instead of having guidance counselors and teachers who can help you, now you're homeschooled. So that's one. You understand? You just set yourself up for a problem. The next thing they can do is they tell you, well, listen, again, you're having all these doubts, all these questions. We don't want you working after school. That after school job you had, you're not going to do it anymore. Or if you have a job, say on the weekends, they can say, that's it. You're not going to be doing that anymore. So again, now your way of earning income, you is just been they've just told you you can't do it anymore. So again, that's you just set yourself back another way of setting you back. Then they may tell you, well, again, you have all these doubts, you have all these questions. We want you to read the Bible 2 hours a day. We want you to have a personal Bible study with one of the elders from the Kingdom Hall. They may tell you, listen, we want you to, we're going to have family Bible studies again and an extra hour of family Bible studies, whatever. So you don't, you've just made it worse for yourself because now you have to be engaged in even more cult activity than before. Okay, so whereas if you just had remained silent, then all of that wouldn't have happened. So it's important that rather than picking a fight and an argument with your parents, you just, focus on getting your ducks lined up in a row so that you can leave the cult. If you are a college student and you're already living at home, please do not fight with your parents. Just concentrate on getting your degree. Don't worry about what your parents believe. Don't worry about what they want you to do. Don't worry about it. All right. So the next thing that I need from you is that I'll give you a way to redirect your attention. Um, and this is a good exercise in budgeting, right? All right. So pretend that in the middle of October, middle of next month, you have to move out of your home. So that means you have to find a new place to live. The funds to pay for your first month's rent and say first month deposit or whatever, you know, you what I need you to do is pretend you're moving out in the middle of October, and you have to have everything ready and in place. You have to have money for all the housewares. That means pots, pans, dishes, eating utensils, towels, washcloths, all of those things. You're gonna be starting fresh out on your own. So again, that's a good exercise in budgeting. It'll give you a good idea of how much money you need. And you have to budget for everything. You have to budget for transportations, utilities, everything. And so if you do that, the reason I want you to do that exercise is I want you to look at how much money you're bringing in now versus how much the expenses are of living on your own. And then because I want you to see how much money it's going to take to actually be able to be independent of your parents. And then that should help you whenever you feel the urge to start arguing with them. I'm hoping that will be incentive for you not to do that. I just want you to see the numbers, look at the budget, and see how much money it takes to live independently. And hopefully, like I said, it will be incentive not to argue with them. When I was living with my mother, and keep in mind, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness from age 6, and I left at age 28. So my entire teenage years was spent as a Jehovah's Witness. So when I was living at home, I did not argue with my mother. I just wanted to get out of there in one piece. All right. So I was just focused on let me learn, like I said, let me learn everything I need to learn, how to cook, the whole thing. And then by the time I was, ready, I knew I could manage a household on my own. I knew I could take care of myself. So that's what I'm urging you to do. Please do not fight with your parents. Do not fight. It will not. No good can come from it at this stage. It's too early. The time to um, stand up to your parents is when at the time when you're ready to leave the home and you're ready to be independent of them. But you should not do it before then. If you still need to be under their roof so that you can attend college, you do not want to be causing any arguments with them. The same thing if you're a teenager. You don't want to start yelling and fighting with them. It's the only time you want to, take a stand and put your foot down that you're going to, leave the cult is when you're ready to leave the home. Okay? So I want to make that clear to you. I want to make that clear to you. Should you try to get your parents to leave the cult? No. You should not. You should stay focused on just getting yourself out of the cult. You should not try to save, get them out. Um, I don't recommend it. It's not. It's too risky, and like I said, they have the power to jeopardize you getting out. You planning your exit. So that's why I don't want you to take that risk. Okay, so I wanted to make that clear. Another thing I wanted to bring up, and I've seen this on Reddit a little bit. I've seen this also in the Facebook group, but few people have mentioned that they want to join the military, and that is an excellent goal. And I first want to say thank you for being willing to serve our country in that way. I will say this: my dad was in the army. He was stationed over in Germany. He was an aerial photographer. So they would take him up in the airplanes. He would shoot um, photographs of various um, military bases in Germany, and then he had to develop the photographs. So he loved his work while he was in the military. He loved being stationed over in Germany. So the military is an excellent um, career. It's an excellent career choice. And like I said, after you leave the military, they do help you pay for your college tuition. So definitely, if you're thinking about joining the military, you should really, that is commendable. So and I want to make it clear, I'm just leaving that as an option. I'm not saying you must join in, I'm just saying that is a wonderful option. All right. Another thing I wanted to mention is while you are in college, there are some classes that you should enroll in, that you should take one or two classes in it. It's not so much that you have to take each and every class, on the subject, but you should take one or two classes. And those subjects are psychology, religious studies, and sociology. And so again, you want to, if psychology or sociology is not your major, you should definitely take at least two classes or so. It's very informative material. It will help you answer a lot of questions as to what should you do, as far as should you join another religion, blah blah blah. A lot of those kind of questions will be answered for you if you if you take those kind of classes. Okay, so again, those classes: psychology, religion, religious studies, and sociology. Okay, So the next thing I wanted to mention, someone sent me a private message, and in that message they asked me a question. And that question was, will I be happy if I leave? So in reading that question, it sounded like they kind of wanted me to guarantee them that if they if they leave, that everything's going to be wonderful and rainbows and unicorns. I can't promise you that. I can't promise you happiness in that context. Okay, so I'm going to word this very carefully. Will I be happy if I leave? If you make the right choices and decisions with your life, you do have the capacity to be happy. You have all the building blocks to be happy. So let's break this down. And I have three simple things. The first thing is make wise decisions. When you leave the call, make wise decisions. You're going to have people approach you. They're trying to get you involved in criminal behavior. If you're a young lady, a man may approach you and say, listen, let's go on a date. And the next thing you find out, you're involved with someone. You may find out that you're involved with someone who's in and out of jail, who has a drug habit, who's an alcoholic. Um, I'll give you another example. You may be offered drugs, and the next thing you know, you've got a drug habit going. If you make poor decisions, those poor decisions have consequences, and they are going to rob you of happiness. So, will I be happy if you leave? If you make wise decisions. So, if someone asks you to get involved with criminal behavior with them, resist. Tell them no. Tell them no. Right? If someone tries to get you addicted to drugs, resist. Refuse. If you're a young lady, you get into a relationship, you notice the man has controlling and abusive behaviors, end the relationship. If you notice he's in and out of jail, end the relationship. If you notice he's cheating, he won't hold down the job, same thing. Same thing. You have to end the relationship. So that's the part what I mentioned about will you be happy? That's if you make wise decisions, you can be happy. The next thing that part of happiness, if you leave the cult in the past, you can be happy. And what I mean by that is sometimes when people leave the cult, they still hang on to the teachings of the cult. So if there's an earthquake, oh my God, it's Armageddon's coming. If they celebrate their holidays or their birthdays, they feel guilty. Um, a hurricane will come up, oh my God, I'm gonna die, this and that, I won't be resurrected, blah blah blah. When you leave the cult, leave the cult in its entirety. Do not hang on to any of those cobwebs and things. Just let leave the entire cult in your past. When I left, I got rid of all the cult's literature. I wiped my mind clear of all of their teachings of whatever, 144,000. Everything is gone. I didn't hold on to any of their beliefs, any of their teachings. Nothing. Even with the Bible, there's only like 2 verses in the Bible that I really still kind of hold on to, but the rest I've chucked it. I don't, you know, go by any of it. So the first verse of the Bible that I still kind of stick to is the verse that says that there's a time and place for everything. The second verse that I hold to is the golden rule: do unto others as you would want done to you. Aside from that, I don't. The Bible's not you know no. I don't live by it or pay it any attention. And that's the other thing. When you get rid of all those cult teachings and things, then it just puts it down to you. And you should be looking inside of yourself for what do you stand for? What are your priorities? What are your morals? What values do you have? And that's what you should be basing your decisions on. So that's what I want to encourage you to do, to think for yourself and not be afraid to take risk, you know. So again, you can be happy. The last thing is you got to find meaning and purpose in your life. Sure, you can leave the cult and you can just, go into a life of excess and a life of just chasing down, you know, one pleasure after the next. It's going to give you a shallow feeling of happiness, a vain, empty, self-centered happiness. If you want a deep happiness, a sense of pride, um, then you're gonna have to be you're gonna have to be self-sacrificing. You're gonna have to be willing to serve others, doing good for others, volunteering, mentoring. If you can make contributions, financial contributions and stuff, those are the kinds of things that give your life meaning, and you'll be much happier for it. So, will you be happy if you leave the cult? Yes, you can be happy. But you gotta, like I said, those are some of the things that are really going to determine if you are happy or not. And this time, you cannot blame the cult. You cannot blame the cult. It will fall squarely on you. So that's one thing I wanted to mention as far as happiness. You know, will you be happy? You can be. You can be. So that's how I'm going to answer that. The next question that same person asked me, they mentioned that they are afraid of death. They're afraid of death and they want to live eternally. And that goes back to what we talked about, letting go of the cult's teachings. None of us can guarantee anyone eternal life. We can't grant it. We can't grant it. And so, we what I would recommend is instead of focusing on death or being afraid of dying, just worry about living. Just worry about having a good and happy life. Don't focus on your death. Do not focus on your death. Do not worry about your death. Just worry about your life. Um, Another thing that came up is, people have mentioned that they are unable to sleep, that they're having nightmares. So, first thing I would recommend is seeing a doctor, making sure that there's not a medical reason for any sleeping problems that you're having. And then once that's been ruled out, you should go see a therapist and talk to them. But I will say one thing. When I left, I've never slept better. I have never slept better since leaving the cult. And so I do, again, it's your sleep is important to you. It's going to be very important to your well functioning. So definitely, if you're having any problems, whether it be that you can't fall asleep and you're suffering from insomnia, or you're having nightmares, you want to get that checked. All right. The next thing I want to mention, so many of you are already watching me you're here on my YouTube channel. Some of you, are interacting with me in the Reddit group. I'm going to recommend that you try to attend XJW meetups in your area when they happen. And the reason why is because remember, you're going to be expanding your social circle. So it really is important that you start connecting with the XJW community. So again, when we have meetups and things, try to attend. We don't have them very often, but when we do have them, try if you can make it, try to attend. All right, so that's another thing I'm going to recommend. Um, so as far as college, you're gonna focus on your grades. You're gonna focus on saving funds. You're gonna research your budget. You're gonna research your budget, and remember, the school staff has been already. If you're living in the United States, you're watching this. The school staff has already been notified. I've been reaching out to so many of them via email and asking them to please give you guys support. So if you are in public school, please reach out to your teachers and to your guidance counselors. Let them know you're Jehovah's Witness and you need their support. All right? I've been emailing everybody. So definitely, they know to keep an eye out for you. One thing you should show them is I showed them I had an email PDF of it, but there's a little green little pamphlet that talks about, teenagers turning down the support from well-meaning, school administrators And you should show that to the school, to your teachers and everything, just so they can see, how this cult is really, kind of stacking the deck against you guys from leaving and from having a good life. But again, the school staff is aware that this cult is really posing challenges to you, and so work closely together with your teachers. All right. Um, the next thing I wanted to mention to you is regarding your bachelor's degree. I've been pushing bachelor's degree in college, and I'm gonna post this down below in the description section. But there was a study. It was done in July 2018 by the Society for Human Resources Management, and their study showed that employers are now insisting that employees have at a minimum a bachelor's degree. It's called degree inflation, which means that degree, the number of employees requiring people to have a bachelor's degree is inflating. It's going up. And I think the number they said is like 60% of employers are requiring that their employees have a bachelor's degree. So that's what I want you to focus on. That's why I don't want you to worry about fighting with your parents and all of this, because at this stage of the game, you have to be focused on getting to that that level of getting a bachelor's degree. So don't fight with your parents. Just worry about getting that degree. And again, if you need help planning for your career or anything, please just post below in the comment section, and we can work together on that. Getting that straightened out. And so, two other things I want to mention. And I've said this before, when you leave, you're going to feel both happy and sad at the same time. When you leave the cult, you are going to feel both happy and sad. Um, for many of us, we spent many years as a JW, and leaving behind our friends, family. It can be emotional. Having our liberty is wonderful. That feels fantastic. So you're going to have mixed emotions. And I remember one of the things that helped me after I left was reading, self-help books. And so I'm going to list a few below that, that should be helpful. And again, it's going to be an emotional time. So I'm sure even now, as you even planning your exit from the cult, it can be emotionally, draining. And again, let your teachers and guidance counselors know if you're feeling a little bit stressed out about it or whatever, you just want to talk to someone about it. Try to talk to them. And remember, you have to be careful because, again, you don't want your parents to pull you out of school. You don't want your parents to tell you you can't go to work or anything like that. So, try to find someone who can give you the support that you need without them going back and telling your parents about it. And we're going to stay on that same vein about things you shouldn't tell your parents. Um, so when I left, my family shunned me. My mom, my siblings, they shunned me. Um, and I'm gonna make sure I say this in a way so that it makes sense, right? So of course when you leave the cult, right? They warn us all of these awful, terrible things are going to happen to you because you left. You don't have Jehovah's favor, and you're going to be destroyed at Armageddon, and all of these things are going to happen. So when we leave, let's suppose you lose a job, or you have a medical problem, or um, there's a fire at your home, and now you're homeless or something, right? The first thing, if you go back and you call your Jehovah's Witness family member and say, listen, my car broke down or whatever, my house burned down and I don't have a place to stay. The first thing they're going to say, well, see, that happened because you left. You left Jehovah's, organization, and that's why that happened to you. Had you stayed, that wouldn't have happened. So my advice to you is, please, if no matter what type of hardship you are facing, do not call your Jehovah's Witness family if they are shunning you. Do not, you know, again, the cult uses it. The cult uses us as poster children. they use any calamity that we face to scare others into staying in the cult. So please do not become Watchtower's poster child. And I said that earlier in an earlier video. I was mentioning that suppose you pick up like a substance abuse habit or whatever. Again, if you become an addict or an alcoholic, a criminal, all that does is help Watchtower. All that does is help Watchtower, because now Watchtower can make a poster child out of you, go back to the cult members and say, see, this is what happens. We warned you. This is what happens. Pat left, and now look at her. And so that's why, please, make wise decisions. Make wise decisions. Do not become a poster child for the cult. Okay, so that's everything for this time on video. Like I said, if you have any subject or topic that you want me to cover that I haven't covered thus far, let me know, and I will try and shoot a video on it. Okay, so everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. And please let me know how the planning is going. If there's any, troublesome spots that you're having or whatever, just let me know. I'm going to keep trying to make these videos that can address, issues that you all are going through. And, just try to stay strong. Let us know if you're feeling, overwhelmed or anything. All right. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. Love you all. Bye.